Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from the wicked one.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, deliver us from the wicked one.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Thine is, oh yeah, the kingdom and the power and the glory, oh yeah, forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. You are live and direct once again with your Akazaki Yahoo, and I'm giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Malak, Yahweh Shah, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four corners of the earth. I say Shalom wa Baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day when the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies, our adversaries, and all those who hate us under our feet. Hallelujah. All praises to the Almighty Yah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. I'm joined this evening by my most esteemed Akinanaya. Shabbat Shalom, Aki.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Aki. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal. Kwam Yashala.
All right, rise, Israel, rise. Indeed, it is definitely time to rise, definitely time to get our minds and our hearts focused on the return of Hamashiach and our redemption. Praises to the Abba. We know it's coming. The question is when he sees fit to let it be so. All right, we are back for a scripture study in the book of Melaख़im Aleph, 1 Kings, chapter 5. We're picking up right there. We're going to get straight to it. Alliance with King Hiram, verse 1. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servant unto Solomon, for he had heard that he had and anointed him king in the room of his father. And Haram did, and Haram was ever a lover of Dawid. So Haram was a friend of Dawid, and he like, oh, you taking his place? Okay. You his son too? Okay, cool, cool. Verse 2. And Solomon sent to Haram, saying, you know as how Dawid, my father, could not build a house unto the name of Yahweh, his power, for the wars in which were about him on every side, until Yahweh put them under the sole of his feet. But now Yahweh, my power, have given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversity nor evil occurrence. And behold, I pose to build a house unto the name of Yahweh my power, as Yahweh spake unto Dawid my father, saying, your son, whom I will set up on your throne in your room, he shall build an house unto my name. Now therefore command you that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servants shall be with your servants, and unto you will I give hire for your servants according to all that you shall appoint. For you know is that there is not among us any that can skill to the hue of timber like unto the Sidonians. So he's giving them compliments and offering his people to help him get this accomplished and to pay him as well. So all praises. Let's continue. Verse 7. And it came to pass when Haram heard the words of Shlomo that he rejoiced greatly and said, Barak be Yahweh this day, which hath given unto Dawid a wise son over this great people. And Haram sent unto Solomon, saying, I have considered the thing in which you have consent to me for, and I will do all your desire concerning timber and cedar, and concerning timber of fir. My servants shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I will convey convey them by the sea in floats unto the place which you shall appoint me, and I will cause them to be discharged there, and they shall receive them, and they shall accomplish my desire and my food and my household. So yeah, we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna let you pay me for it, and it's gonna work out. So, verse 10. So Haran gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Haram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil. Thus Solomon and Haram year by year. So he was kicking him over substance to keep him to maintain him. Verse 12. And Yahweh gave Solomon wisdom as he prepared him for there was peace between Haram and Solomon, and they made a league together. We're not supposed to make leagues with people, but apparently this one was working out. Conspiracy, what's that? Constriction of labor?
That means concourse, conscription.
Conscription, okay. I was thinking conscription. I said conscription. Told Aki. Continue with verse 13. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all of Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men, 30,000 Israelites here. Verse 14. And sent to Lebanon 10,000 a mouth by course, or Slakia, 10,000 a month by course. A month they were in Lebanon, and 2 months were they home. And Adoram was over the levy. And Solomon had three score and 10,000 that bear burden, and fourscore thousand hewers of the mount in the mountains. besides the chief of Solomon's workers, which were which were over the work, 3,300 which ruled over the people which wrought in the work. And the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and huge stones, and laid foundations of the house. Shalom, Jacob. What's going on, brother? All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Verse 18, indeed. Uh, verse 18. And Solomon built, and Solomon's builders and Haran's builders did hew them and stone quarters as they prepared timbers and stones to build the houses. So yeah, they were making all preparations, getting everything together to get these building erected, and that was the objective to get this done. Continuing here at First Kings, chapter 6, the building of the temple, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 400, it's like in the 408 and 80th year of the children of Israel coming out of the land of Mizraim, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the Mount Ziph, which was the 2nd month that had begun to build the house of Yahweh. And the house which Solomon built for Yahweh, he the length thereof were 3 cubits, with 3 square cubits, and the breadth thereof were 20 cubits, and the height thereof were 30 cubits. And the porch before the temple of the house, 20 cubits, was the length thereof, according to the breadth of the house, and 10 cubits was the breadth thereof before the house. And the house made, and the house he made windows of narrow light. And after the wall of the house, he built chambers round about, against the walls of the house round about, both of the temple and of the oracle. And he made chambers round about. And neither most chamber was 5 cubits broad, and made was 6 cubits broad. And the third was 7 cubits broad. And for without, in the walls of the house, made he narrow nests round about. And the beams should not be fastened to the walls of the house. So how the beams going to be on there if they're not going to be fastened? Interesting. Verse 7. And the house, when it was in building, was built of stone and ready before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard on the house while it was in building. So that takes me to in the Torah, where it talks about don't put your tool on anything that you would build for me, because you would pollute it. Verse 8. And the door for the middle chamber was on the right side of the house, and they went up with winding stairs unto the middle chamber, and out of the middle unto the third. So he built the house and finished it, and covered the house with the beam of broad of cedar. And he went slacking. And when he built the chamber against the house 5 cubits high, and they rested on the house with timber and cedar. Slacking. Let me continue. Verse 11. And the word of Yahweh came unto Solomon, saying, concerning the house in which you are building, if you would walk in my statutes and execute my judgments and keep my commandments, to walk in them, then will I perform my word with you, which I spake unto David your father. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people, Israel. That's exactly what we want. That's the position we want to be in, and that's what the Most High have said he would do. Verse 14. So Solomon built the house and finished it, and the building of the wall of the house within the borders of the cedar, both the floor and the house of the walls of the ceiling, and he covered them on the inside of the wood, and covered the floors of the house with the planks of fir. And he built 20 cubits on the side of the house from the floor to the walls with rods of cedar. He even built them for it within, even for the oracle, even for the most set apart place. So yeah, he's putting in that work and getting it accomplished. So praises to the Abba. Let's continue. Verse 17. And the house, that is the temple before it, was 40 cubits long, and the cedar of the house wherein was craved with knops and open flowers. Uh, all was cedar, and there was no stone seen. The oracles had and slacky, and the oracles he prepared in the house wherein he set in the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. And the oracles were uh, for part and 20 cubits in length, and the 20 cubits in breadth, and 20 cubits in the height thereof. And he overlaid it with pure gold, and so covered the altar which was of cedar. So the altar was made of cedar, and now he's pouring gold everywhere. Let's continue. Verse 21. So Solomon overlaid the house with pure gold, and he made a partition by the chains of gold before the oracles, and overlaid it with gold. And the whole house was overlaid with gold until he had finished all the house. Also, the whole altar, after that it was by the oracle, was overlaid with gold. So you talk about what is it, plating? He's gold plating everything, putting liquid gold. Yeah, and I just imagine how magnificent that has to look. It's got to be like, wow, everything gold. Verse 23. And within the oracles, he made two cherubim of olive trees, and 10 cubits, each 10 cubits high. And 5 cubits was one wing of the cherubim, and 5 cubits was the other wing of the cherubim. And the uttermost part of one wing was the uttermost part of the other, were 10 cubits. And the other cherubim was 10 cubits. Both cherubims were of one measure of one size. The height of the one cherubim was 10 cubits, and so it was of the other cherubim. And he set the cherubim within the inner house, and they stretched forth their wings of the cherubim, so that the wings of the one touched the wall, and the wings of the other cherubim touched the other wall, and their wings touched one another in the midst of the house. And he overlaid the cherubim with gold. And he carved all the walls of the house round about with carving figures. So the cherubim and the palm trees and open flowers within and without. Yeah, he making this place immaculate here. This is magnificent. Verse 30. I wish I could have seen this temple. I mean, this sounds like some next level, you know what I'm saying? Like putting to shame these so-called 5-star places you see here today. Verse 30.
And Slaki, real quick, the focus that he's putting into this house for the Most High, as he's been instructed to, is like you said, it's elaborate. Mm-hmm. Today we put all of this material value on watches, cars, rims, things of that nature that won't profit us. I just want to make a make a distinction between what we should be doing and what we actually do a lot of times. So, I think a lot of us in this walk understand that those things are vain. We should get our people to understand it as well.
Indeed, Akeem, no doubt, no doubt. All praises. Continuing here, verse 30. It says, and the floor of the house was overlaid with gold, wherein and without. Whereout, my goodness. And for the entering of the oracle, he made a door of olive tree and a lintel on the side posts, were a fifth part of the wall. So he made this the fifth of the wall. So the doors are huge. Like this is super luxurious. Serious. Verse 32. The two doors also were of olive trees, and he carved upon the carvings of cherubim and palm trees and open flowers, and overlaid them with gold, and spread gold upon the cherubims and upon the palm trees. So also made he a door up to the temple posts and the olive trees, a fourth part of the wall. And the two doors were of fir trees, and the two leaves of the one door were folded, and the two leaves of the other door were folded. And he carved thereon cherubims and palm trees and open flowers, and covered them with gold, lifted up the craved carved work. It's like the carved work. Verse 36. And he built an inner court in the three rows of hewn stone, and a narrow slacky and a row of the cedar beam. Verse 37. And the fourth year of the fountain of the house of Yahweh laid in the month Ziph, and in the 11th year, in the month Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished throughout all the parts thereof, and according to the fashion of it. So was the 7th year of building it. So they 7 years into building it, and from what I can see, it's crazy. But you can let's continue. We trying to speed through this because time is not on our side. So that's why I'm trying to go fast. This is the book of First Kings, uh, chapter 7. Solomon's Solomon's palace. That's it, place. Verse 1. But Solomon was building his own house 13 years and finished all his house. But Solomon also built a house in the forest of Lebanon, and the length thereof was 100 cubits, and the breadth thereof was 50 cubits, and the height thereof was 30 cubits, and upon 4 rows of cedar pillars and cedar beams upon the pillars. And it was covered with cedar above uh, above upon the beams, and laid with four five that laid on 4 or 5 pillars, 15 in a row. And there were windows in 3 rows, and light was against the light of 3 ranks. And all the doors and posts were square, uh, with the windows, and the light was against the light in the 3 ranks. Verse 6 here. And he made a porch of pillars. The length thereof were 50 cubits, and the breadth thereof was 30 cubits. And the porch was before them, and the other pillars were thick beams where they before them were before them. Slacking. Verse 7. And he made a porch for the throne there, where he might judge, even the porch of judgment, and it was covered with cedar from one side of the floor to the other. And his house where he dwelt was another court within the porch, which was like work. Solomon made also a house for Pharaoh's daughter, whom he had taken to wife, like unto this porch. So here he dealing with Pharaoh's daughter. My goodness. Verse 7, Slacky, verse 9. Uh, all these were costly stones, according to the measure of the hewed stones, sawwood stones, wherein and without, uh, even from the foundation unto the copying, and so on the outside towards the great court. And the fountain was of costly stones and great stones, stones of 10 cubits and stones of 8 cubits, and above were costly stones after the measure of the huge stones and cedars. And the great court round about was with the rows of huge stones and the rows of cedar beams, both in the inner court and the house of Yahweh, and for the porch of the house. All right, Hiram's work in the temple. Verse 13. And King Solomon sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre, and he was a widow's son of the tribe of Naphtali, and his father's name was Tyre, a worker in brass, and he was filled with wisdom and understanding and cunning work, uh, all works of brass in brass. And he came to the kings, and he came to King Solomon and wrought all his work. So now he coming to work the brass. He got gold every which way in the Most High's house, and look like in his place he about to put brass every which way. Verse 15. And he cast 2 pillars of brass of 18 cubits high apiece, and the line of 12 cubits did compass either of them about. And he made uh, two chapters of molten brass, and set upon the top of the pillars the height of the one chapter and 5 cubits, and the height of the other chapter was 5 cubits. And next the checker work and reeve of the chains work for the chapters were upon the top of the pillars, 7 for one chapter and 7 for the other. And he made pillars in 2 rows around about upon the one network, and covered the chapters that were upon the top of the and covered the chapters that were up on the top with pomegranates. So he did for the other chapters. And the chapters that were upon the top of the pillars were of lily work, and in the porch, 4 cubits. And the chapters that were on the 2 pillars had pomegranates also above, over against the belly which was by the network. And the pomegranates were 200 rows round about upon the chapter chapter. I'm saying chapter, I mean chapter. That's what I'm trying to say. Verse 21. And he set the pillars on the porch of the temple, and he set up the right pillar and called the name thereof uh, Yakshin, Yakshin. And he set the left pillar and called the name thereof Boaz. Look, he called his father, one of his grandfathers, he called it Boaz. Verse 22. And upon the top pillar, I know, ain't that something? I didn't realize that before. And upon the top of the pillars was lily work. So was the work of the pillars finished. And he made molten sea 10 cubits from the one brim to the other, and it was round all about. And the height was 5 cubits, and the line was 30 cubits, did compass it round about. And under the brim it was round about there were knobs compassed it, 10 in a cubit, compassing the sea round about, and knobs that were cast in 2 rows when it was cast. Verse 25. It stood upon 12 oxen, 3 looking towards the north, 3 looking towards the west, 3 looking towards the south, 3 looking towards the east, and the sea was set above upon them, and all their hinder parts were inward. All their hind parts were inward. It's like uh, verse 26. And it was a hard uh, breaded thick, it's like it was a handbreadth thick, and the brims thereof were wrought like a brim of a cup, and the flowers of lilies, and it contained 2,000 baths. And he made a 10 basin, 10 basin of brass. 4 cubits was the length of the one basin, and 4 cubits was the breadth thereof, and a cubit and 3 cubits was the height thereof. It's like, and the work of the brass was in this manner. There was a border, and it bordered there between the ledges. And on the border that was between the ledges were lions, oxen, cherubim, and upon the ledge there was a brass, a base above, and, and beneath the lion and the ox were certain additions made of thin work. And every base had 4 bracing wheels and plates of brass, and 4 corners thereof had unsettlers. Under the layers were unsettlers molded at the side of every addition. So I hope y'all getting this because I'm still getting, even though I'm trying to zoom through this, I'm still getting an elaborate picture in my mind as I'm reading this. And man, it's spectacular. This is his house now, as we pass the Most High's house now. This is his setup.
Yeah.
This is a place fit for the King of the Most High Power of Israel. Yeah. Continue, verse 31. And the mouth of it was a chapter, and about was a cubit, and about was a cubit. But the mouth thereof was round after the work of the base. A cubic and a half, and also upon the mouth of it were graven with the borders 4 squares, not round. And under the border were 4 wheels, and the axe tree of the wheels were joined to the basin, and the height of the wheels was a cubit and a half of a cubit, and a half a cubit. And the work of the wheels were like the work of the chariot wheels. Their axle and their naves and their follows and their spokes were all molten, and they were 4 unsettlers to the 4 score of one base, and the unsettlers of the very base itself. And in the top of the base there was a round compass. It's like I lost my place. Here I am. There were a round compass of half a cubit high, and on the top of the base, the ledges thereof were broad. Thereof were the same, and on the plates of the ledge thereof, and on the borders thereof, the graven cherubim, lions, and palm trees, according to the portions of every one, an additional roundabout, an additions roundabout. Slacking. Verse 37. After this manner, he made a 10 basin. He made 10 bases, all of them one casting, and measured in one size. And he made 10 levers of brass. One lever contained 4 baths, and every lever was 4 cubits, and upon every one was 10 basin, one lever. So I'm not getting that clearly, but some kind of, it sounds like some kind of contraption. But let's continue. Verse 39. And he put 5 basins on the right side of the house, and 5 basins, and 5 on the left side of the house. And he set the sea in the right side of the house eastward over against the south. And Hiram made the levers and the shoves and the basins. So Hiram made an end of doing all the work that he made King Solomon's for the house of Yahweh. The 2 pillars, I'll say, so he's working both of these. So my bad, I said that incorrect earlier. I thought the house of the Most High was finished, but in fact, like he's working both of these still. Verse 41. The 2 pillars and the 2 bowls of a chapel that were at the top of the 2 pillars and the 2 networks were covered to cover the 2 bowls of the chapel which were upon the top of the pillar, and the 400 pomegranate for the 2 networks, even 2 rows of pomegranate for 1 network to cover the 2 bowls of the chapel that were upon the pillars, and the 10 basins and 10 levers on the basin, and 1 sea and 12 oxen under the sea, and the pots and the shovels and the basins and the vessels which Hiram had made to King Solomon for the house of Yahweh were of bright brass. In the plains of Jordan, the king cast them, and the clay ground between Sukkot and Zerath. And Solomon left all the vessels unweighted, because they were exceeding many, neither was the weight of the basin found out. And Solomon made all the vessels that pertain unto the house of Yahweh, the altar of gold, and the table of gold, whereupon the shewbread was, and the candlestick of pure gold, 5 on the right side, and 5 on the left side before the oracles, with the flowers and the lamps and the tongs of gold, and the bowls and the snuffers and the basins and the spoons and the censers and of pure gold, and the hinges of gold, both the doors and the inner of the inner house and the most kodesh place, and for the doors of the house to width of the temple. So he ended all the work of King Solomon made for the house of Yahweh, and Solomon brought in the things which Dawid his father had dedicated, even the silver and the gold and the vessels did he put among the treasures of the house of Yahweh. Oh, wonderful. All right, continuing. Actually, I need about 1.5 minutes. I don't even need that long, probably about 80 seconds. So can you start this one for me? I'll be right back.
Indeed, Aki. It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8. The ark brought into the temple, verse 1. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Yasharal and all the heads of the tribes, the chiefs of the fathers of the children of Yasharal, unto King Solomon in Jerusalem, that they might bring up the ark of the covenant of Yahweh out of the city of Dawid, which is Zion. And all the men of Yasharal assembled themselves unto King Solomon at the feast in the month Athanim, which is the 7th month. And, we've got 7th month, fastly approaching. I want to say we're like maybe 2.5, 3 months out, but it's drawing near. Verse 3. And all the elders of Yasharal came, and the priests took up the ark. And they brought up the ark of Yahweh and the tabernacle of the congregation and all the set apart vessels that were in the tabernacle. Even those did the priests and the Levites bring up.
Khan, I got
And
you.
King Solomon, oh, Salaki,
I got you. No, you good. You good. I got you. Tell everybody.
no worry about
verse 5. And King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled unto him were with him before the ark, sacrificing sheep and oxen that could not be told, numbered for multitude. So they bringing so much sacrifices to the Most High, you can't even count them. It's ridiculous in number. Verse 6, and the priest brought in the ark of the covenant of Yahweh up unto his place, unto the oracles of the house, the most kodesh place, even under the wings of the cherubim. For the cherubim spread forth their two wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubim covered the ark of the staves thereof above. And they drew out the staves that were in that the ends of the staves were sent out of the set apart place before the oracles, and they were not seen without. And there they and there they are unto this day. Verse 9. There was nothing in the ark save the two tablets of stone which Moshe put there at Hebron. When Yahweh made the covenant with the children of Israel, and they came out of the land of Mizraim. And it came to pass, when the priests could come out of the set apart place, the cloud filled the house of Yahweh. So the priests could not stand to minister before the cloud, for the glory of Yahweh had filled the house of Yahweh. So the actual presence of the Most High have come. Well, probably wasn't him, that was probably his representative, but the actual presence had filled the what we would call the temple. They called it the house of the Most High. But man, I imagine that sight, just amazing. They couldn't even stay in there. They had to get. All praises. Shlomo addresses the people. Verse 12. Then spake Shlomo, Yahweh said that he would dwell in thick darkness. I have surely built you a house to dwell in, and a settled place for you to abide in forever. Verse 14. And the king turned his face about and barak all the congregation of Israel, and all the congregation of Israel stood. And he said, Barak be Yahweh, power of Israel, which spake with the mouth unto David my father, and have with his hand fulfilled it, saying, since the day I have brought forth my people Israel out of Mizraim, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build a house that my name might be therein. But I chose David to be over my people Israel. And it was in the heart of David my father to build a house for the name of Yahweh, power of Israel. And Yahweh said unto David my father, whereas it was in your heart to build a house unto my name, you did as well that it was in your heart. Nevertheless, you shall not build the house, but your son shall come forth out of your loins. He shall build the house unto my name. And Yahweh hath performed my words, his words that he spake. And I am risen upon the room of David my father, and set on the throne of Israel, as Yahweh promised, and have built an house for the name of Yahweh, power of Israel. And I have set there a place for the ark, wherein is the covenant of Yahweh, which is made with our fathers when he brought them out of the land of Mizraim. Prayer of dedication. Verse 22. So Solomon stood before the altar of Yahweh in the presence of all the congregation of Israel and spread forth his hands towards Shamaim. And he said, Yahweh, power of Israel, there is no power like you. The Shamaim have Shamaim above or in the earth beneath, who keepeth commandments and mercy with your servants that walk before you with all their heart, who have kept with your servant Dawid, my father, that you promised him. You spake also with your mouth, and have fulfilled it with your hand. And it is this day, as it is this day, Slaki. Verse 25. Therefore, now Yahweh, power of Israel, keep with your servant Dawid, my father, that you promised him, saying, you shall not fail you a man in the sight to sit on the throne of Israel, for that your children take heed unto their way, that they walk before me as you have walked before me. So to get the children of Israel to operate in the manner that Dawid operated as he was when he was king, operating in righteousness and doing the things that he was supposed to do as the Most High have commanded. Slaki. Verse 26. And now, O power of Israel, let your word, I pray you, be verified with them that speak unto your servant Dawid, my father. But will the Most High indeed dwell in the earth? Behold, the Shamaim and Shamaim of Shamaim cannot contain you. How much less this house that I have built? Yet have I respect unto your prayer of your servant and his supplication, O Yahweh, my power, to hearken unto the cry and to the prayer which your servant prayeth before you this today, that your eye may be open towards the house night and day, even towards the place which you have said, my name shall be there, and you shall hearken unto the prayer which your servant shall make towards this place, and hearken you to the supplication of the servants of your people Israel, when they shall pray towards this place, and hear you in Shamaim, your dwelling place, and when you hear, forgive. If any man trespass against his neighbor, and an oath laid upon him cause him to swear, and the oath cometh before your altar in this house, then hear you in Shamaim, and do the judgment of your servant, commended the wicked to bring his way upon his head, and justify the righteous, condemning the wicked to bring his way upon his head, and justifying the righteous to give him according to his righteousness. So like, yeah, I'm messing up these words, but we're gonna get through this. Verse 33. And your people Israel be smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against you, and shall turn again to you and confess your name and pray and make supplication unto this house. Then hear you from Shamaim, and forgive the sin of your people Israel, and bring them again unto the land in which you gave unto their fathers. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we anxiously anticipating. Verse 35. Then Shamaim is shut up, and there is no rain, because they have sinned against you. If they pray towards this place and confess your name and turn from their sin, which you afflictest them, then hear you in Shamaim and forgive the sin of your servants and your people Israel, that you teach them from the good way therein they should walk, and give rain upon the land which you have given to the people for an inheritance. If there be any, if there be, if it's like verse 37, if there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, blowing, and it's like blasting, mildew, locusts, or if there be caterpillar, if their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, uh, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be, what prayer and supplication soever be made by any man or by the people of Israel, which shall know every man the plague of his own heart, and spread forth his hands towards this house, and hear you in Shamaim, your dwelling place, and forgive and do and give every man according to his ways, rather whose heart you know, for you, even you only, know the hearts of all the children of men. Verse 40. That they may fear all that they may fear you all the days of their lives in the land in which you gave unto our fathers. Moreover, concerning the stranger that is not of the people of Israel, that cometh out of a far country, for your name's sake, for they shall hear of your great name and your strong hand, and of and their and of your stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray towards this house. Hear you from Shamaim, your dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth you for, that all the people of the earth may know and fear you, as do your people Israel, and that they may know that the house which I have built is called by your name. If your people go out to battle against their enemy, whithersoever you shall send them, and shall pray unto Yahweh towards the city which you have chosen, and towards the house that I have built for your name, then hear you in Shamaim their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. If they sin against you, for there is no man that sinneth not, and you be angry with them, and deliver them into their enemy, so that they carry them away captive unto a land of their enemies, far or near. That's what happened to us here. Verse 47. If they if they bethink themselves in the land, whether they would carry captive, and repent and make supplication unto you in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, we have sinned, we have done perversely, and we have committed wickedness. And they return unto you with all their hearts and with all their souls in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray to you towards their land, which you have given unto their fathers, the city in which you have chosen, and the house in which I have built for your name. Then hear you their prayer and their supplication in Shamaim, your dwelling place, and maintain their cause, and forgive your people that have sinned against you, and all their transgressions therein they have transgressed against you, and give them compassion before them who carried them captive, that they may have compassion on them. For they be your people, your inheritance, and your which you brought forth out of Mizraim from the midst of the furnace of iron. Your eyes may be upon your eyes may be open unto the supplication of your servants, and unto the supplication of your people Israel, to hearken unto them in all that you may call for them to unto you, and you may spare them, you may separate them from among the people of the earth to be your inheritance, as you spoke by the hand of Moshe your servant, when you brought them forth out of uh, when you brought us our fathers out of Mizraim, O Yahweh power. Solomon's benediction. Solomon got long on this thing. Verse 54. It was so that when Solomon made an end of praying all the prayers and supplication unto Yahweh, he arose from before the altar of Yahweh, and from kneeling on his knees with his hands spread up to Shamaim. So he was kneeling and had his hands up. Verse 55. And he stood and blessed the congregation of Israel with a loud voice, saying, Barak be Yahweh, that have given rest unto the people of Israel according to all that he promised. There shall not one fall, there shall not fail one word of all the good promise which he promised by the hand of Moshe his servant. And Yahweh, your power be with us as he was with our fathers. Let him not leave us nor forsake us, that he may incline our ear unto him, and walk in all the ways, in all his ways, and keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, which he commanded our fathers. And let my words therewith I have made supplication before Yahweh be nigh unto Yahweh our power, day and night, that he might that he maintain the cause of his servant and cause of his people Israel at all times, as the matter shall require, that all the people of the earth may know that Yahweh is most high, and that there is none else. Let your hearts therefore be perfect with Yahweh our power, and walk in his statutes, and keep his commandments, as at this day. Uh, verse 62. And the kings, Slakia, and the king and all of Israel with him offered sacrifice before Yahweh. And Solomon offered sacrifice of peace offering, which he offered unto Yahweh, 220,000 ox, and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all of the children of Israel dedicated the house of Yahweh. That same day did the king hollow the middle of the court that was with the house of Yahweh, for there he offered burnt offerings and meat offerings and the fat of the peace offering, because the brazen altar was before Yahweh was too little to receive the burnt offering of meat offering and the fat of peace offering. And at that time Solomon held feast, all of Israel with him, and the congregation, for they entered in of Hamath unto the river of Mizraim before Yahweh our power, 7 days and 7 days and 14 days. And the 8th day he sent the people away and blessed the king and went up to the tents joyful and glad in their heart for all goodness that Yahweh have done for Dawid his servant and for Israel his people. All praises to the Abba.
Hallelujah.
Indeed. Continuing here in chapter 9, the Most High promises and warnings.
I think I'm up, all right?
Oh, is you? Okay, go ahead here.
Con. It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 9. The Most High's promises and warning. Verse 1. And it came to pass, when Solomon had finished the building of the house of Yahweh and the king's house, and all Solomon's desires which he was pleased to do, that Yahweh appeared to Solomon the second time, as he appeared unto him at Gibeon. And Yahweh said unto him, I have heard your prayer and your supplication that you have made before me. I have hallowed this house, which was built to put my name there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And if you will walk before me, as Dawid your father walked, in the integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded you, and will keep my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish the throne of your kingdom upon Yasharal forever, as I promised to Dawid your father, saying, there shall not fail you a man upon the throne of Yasharal. But if you shall at all turn from following me, you or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other deities and worship them, then will I cut off Yasharal out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name will I cast out of my sight, and Yasharal shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. And at this house, which is high, everyone that passes by it shall be astonished and shall hiss, and they shall say, why hath Yahweh done thus unto this land and to this house? And they shall answer, because they forsook Yahweh their power, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Mizraim, and have taken hold upon other deities, and have worshipped them and served them. Therefore hath Yahweh brought upon them all this evil. Cities given to Haram. Verse 10. And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, when Shlomo had built the two houses, the house of Yahweh and the king's house. Now Haram, the king of Tyre, had furnished Solomon with cedar trees and fir trees, and with gold according to all his desire, that the king Solomon gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee. And Hiram came out from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. And he said, what cities are these which you have given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day. And Hiram sent the king 60 talents of gold. Verse 15. And this is the reason of the levy which King Solomon raised for to build the house of Yahweh and his own house, and Millo, and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazor, and Megiddo, and Gezer. For Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, had gone up and taken Gezer, and burnt it with fire, and slain the Canaanites that dwelt in the city, and given it for a present unto his daughter, Solomon's wife. And Solomon built Gezer and Beth Horon, the nether, and Evilah, and Tadmor, in the wilderness, in the land, and all the cities of the store that Solomon had, and the cities for his chariots, and cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which were not of the children of Yasharal, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Yasharal also were not able utterly to destroy. Upon those did Solomon levy a tribute of bond service unto this day. There you go. Verse 22. But of the children of Yasharal did Solomon make no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and his rulers of chariots, and his horsemen. These were the chief of the officers that were over Solomon's work, 550, which bear rule over the people that wrought in the work. But Pharaoh's daughter came up out of the city of David into her house, which Solomon had built for her. Then did he build Millo. And 3 times in a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings and peace offerings upon the altar, which he built unto Yahweh. And he burnt incense upon the altar that was before Yahweh. So he finished the house. And King Solomon made navy ships in Ezion Geber, which is beside Elah, on the shore of the Red Sea, in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with the servants of Solomon. And they came to Ophir and fetched from thence gold 420 talents and brought it to King Solomon.
King Solomon had, well, he had the thing, well.
Indeed, indeed. Verse continuing. Aleph Melaख़im, 1 Kings chapter 10, the Queen of Sheba, verse 1. And when the king of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of Yahweh, she came to prove him with hard questions. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices, and very much gold, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his accent by which he went up into the house of Yahweh, there was no more spirit in her. And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard in my own land of your acts and of your wisdom. Howbeit, I believed not the words until I came, and my eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Your wisdom and prosperity exceed the fame which I heard. Happy are your men, happy are these your servants, which stand continually before you, and that hear your wisdom. Blessed be Yahweh your power, which delighteth in you, to set you on the throne of Yasharal, because Yahweh loved Yasharal forever. Therefore made he you king, to do judgment and justice. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, indeed.
Verse 10, and she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices very great store, and precious stones. There came no more much such abundance of spices as these which Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. And the navy also of Hiram, that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almug trees and precious stones. And the king made of the almug trees pillars for the house of Yahweh, and for the king's house, harps also and psalteries for singers. There came no such almug trees, nor were seen unto this day. And King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, besides that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. Continuing, wealth, splendor, and wisdom. Verse 14. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Besides that, he had of the merchantmen and of the traffic of the spice merchants and of all the kings of Arabia and of the governors of the country. And King Solomon made 200 targets of beaten gold. 600 shekels of gold went to one target. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold. The throne had 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round behind, and there were stays on either side of the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. And the 12 lions stood there on the one side and on the other upon the 6 steps. There was not the like made in any kingdom. I bet that was something.
I bet that. And you know, they stole our stuff.
Hey, Con. Verse 21. And all the king Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of in the days of Solomon. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Haram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the Eretz for riches and for wisdom. And all the Eretz sought to wisdom to hear his wisdom. Salakia. And all the Eretz sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which the Most High put in his heart. And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver and vessels of gold, and garments and armor and spices, horses and mules, a rate year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed in the cities for chariots, and with the king at Jerusalem. And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as the sycamore trees that are in the vale, for abundance. And Solomon had horses brought out of Mizraim, and linen yarn. The king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price. And a chariot came up and went out of Mizraim for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And so for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out by their means. All right. Wow, yeah, it sounds lavish, you know?
Yeah, so lavish. All right.
God. All right, closing out. It's the book of Aleph Melech, 1 Kings chapter 11. Solomon turns for the Most High. Man.
Crazy.
Verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Yasharal, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, but surely they will turn away your heart after their deities. Solomon clave unto these in love, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other deities, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his power, as was the heart of Dawid his father. For Solomon went after this evil goddess, or this evil deity of the Zidonians, and after this evil deity, the abominations of the Ammonites.
Right.
Man,
That was close.
Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and went not fully after Yahweh, as did Dawid his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for this evil, the abomination of Moab, and the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for this evil deity, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their deities. And Yahweh was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from Yahweh, power of Yasharal, which had appeared unto him twice. And he commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other deities, but he kept not that which Yahweh commanded. Wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of you, and you have not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded you, I will surely rend the kingdom from you, and will give it to your servant. Notwithstanding, in your days I will not do it for Dawid your father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of your son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to your son. I will give one tribe to your son for Dawid, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. The Most High raises adversaries. Verse 14. And Yahweh stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was the king's seed in Edom. And it came to pass, when Dawid was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Yasharal, until he had cut off every male in Edom. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Mizraim, Hadad being yet a little child. And they arose out of Midian, and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Mizraim, unto Pharaoh king of Mizraim, which gave him a house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife his sister of his own wife, the sister of this lady, the queen. And the sister of this lady bare him his son, whom this queen weaned in Pharaoh's house. Yeah, I know it's getting confusing the way I'm saying it, but I'm thinking that these names are heathenistic and paying homage to deities.
Right, exactly. We don't do that.
And Khan, Pharaoh's household was Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. Verse 21. And when Hadad heard in Mizraim that Dawid slept with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me depart, that I may go to my own country. Then Pharaoh said unto him, but what hast thou lacked with me, that behold, you seek to go to your own country? And he answered, nothing. Howbeit, let me go in any wise. And the Most High stirred him up another adversary, Rezin, the son of Eli Adah, which fled from his master Hadadezer, king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him, and became captain over a band, when Dawid slew them at Zobah. And they went to Damascus, and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Yasharal all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did. And he abhorred Yasharal, and reigned over Syria. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephraite of Zeradi, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zerah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo, and repaired the breaches of the city of Dawid his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahiah, the Shilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they too were alone in the field. And Ahiah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take you 10 pieces, but thus saith Yahweh, the power of Yasharal, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to you. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, and the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Yasharal, because they have forsaken me, and have worshipped this evil deity of the Zidonians, and this evil deity of the Moabites, and this evil deity of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto you, even 10 tribes. And unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take you, and you shall reign according to all that your soul desire, and shall be king over Yasharal. And it shall be, if you will hearken unto all that I command you, and will walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with you, and build you a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Yasharal unto you. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam, and Jeroboam arose and fled into Mizraim, and to Shishak, king of Mizraim, and was in Mizraim until the death of Solomon. The death of Solomon, verse 41. And the rest of the acts of Solomon, and all that he did, and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Yasharal was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That was a lot to go over. We're going to run over these final thoughts real quick here. Praises to the Abba, first of all. So much to be reviewed. Man, the immaculate, the building of the house of the Most High, the architecture of King Shlomo's house, the awe of the Queen of Sheba, seeing King Shlomo and all that he had put together, and all that the Most High had given him, and his people in order, looking well, dressed well. Everything was the way that she was greater than what she imagined and what she was told. And she commended him for that. Now, the question is always, how could you go from that to going against the power that gave you all of this? Well, I had to think about this for a while, but I think what happens is that you get into idolatry, and in your mind, this idol is supplying you with everything that you're getting. So with what you're getting now, you're attributing that to this idol. So that's the stronghold that's on you, because in your mind, this idol is giving you barakah. And so you're thinking, I can't leave this idol because this idol is keeping me. But it's not, in fact, it's the Most High that's keeping you. And so that's where the confusion comes in, and that's why he can be warned and still not turn away and turn back. It would seem asinine to anybody to go away from the Most High, who's giving you all of this, greater than you can imagine, and somehow you serving idols. That just doesn't, that's not sensible. But it only makes sense is if you're attributing what you have or what you're getting to these idols. Plus, he was dealing with these women, which had his mind all messed up as well. So I'm going to rest there. Go ahead, Akeem.
Kanak, I was inspired when, we were reading about how, he took the time, 7 years in building the kingdom, or not the kingdom, but the temple for the Most High, and the elaborateness of it. Then the very next chapter, we read about, he spent almost double that time building his own house.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can learn something there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still referred to as a wise king, but perhaps, there might have been a falling away that, might have been able to be identified then, and then he later says that in life, we know how things turn out, but, he talks about how all is vanity,
Yeah.
but, man, it's some really good reading.
Yeah.
I bet that was truly something, to be present for that feast of Tabernacle, which was the dedicating of the temple that year. I bet that would have been something that folks would have been talking about, man, for a long time. Thousands of years now. We're having the discussion about it, and wondering what it would have been like, to see all of this, praying and being patient, for the return of all this. Abba willing in His time. But I'll yield there.
All praises to the Most High. Praise Abba Yah. Man, good stuff. Good stuff. We'll go ahead and close out. We got another meeting we got to get to. We do this for a specific purpose. Why do we do it? Romans chapter 10 and verse 1. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Abba for Israel is that they might be saved. We want to see our people saved. We want to see our people set free. And we want to see our people restored. How are we going to do it? First of all, we're going to keep the belief and the faith in Hamashiach, in his return and his restoration of Israel. Also, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is so very important to understand that in the conclusion of the whole matter, we are to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. At the end of the day, when it is all said and done, all the dust is settled and all the smoke is cleared, we will be judged on whether we have feared the Most High and kept his commandments. Why? Because this is the whole duty of man. I am your Akazaki Yahoo, joined by my most esteemed Akinanaya, giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahweh, Bashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak, Yahweh Shai, and to the 12 tribes of Israel, who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom, Wa, Baruchim. That is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day when the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies, our adversaries, and all those who hate us under our feet. Until that day come, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Pekah.
All praises to the Abba. Praise you, Abba Yah. Kwam Yasha'Allah.
Kwam Yasha'Allah.
And Barak Hashem Yahweh.